And hello, good people of the internet. It is I, Tommy Kelly. This is Adventures in Woo Woo, and we're going to be doing another one of the monthly one card 47 divinations for patrons. So let's get straight into it without any messing around. For those who are looking for the question to be answered, I'm going to be doing this in two videos. So the first one is going to be Sarah up until Betty. So if you're not in that, going from the bottom up, as it's shown on my Patreon screen, then you will be in the second video, which will be uploaded fairly straight after this. Okay. Sarah, where should I focus my energy this month? The depleted. So it's on where you are out of energy, on where you're there's something has come to a natural conclusion, I suppose. But it's mostly where you've been burnt out, where things are too much for you, or that you've expended too much energy in certain places or certain areas, and just have a look at that, and to realize that there is, you may be doing too much, or you don't have energy for something, and that there's a kind of a sense of maybe, not overextending yourself, or realizing that you need to rest, or realizing that this is not the time to do all the things. So just be aware, what should I focus my energy on this month, where you are done, tired, exhausted, and take rest. But remember to see it as not the ending of it. It's just it's a cyclical thing. It's something that comes back. It's like you just need to rejuvenate, regenerate, have a rest. And apart from the things that, of course, that you do need to finish forever. So just have a look at the things that have come to an end, or that are taking all your energy, and see if you can change it in a way that it no longer takes all your energy, or you can get some sort of rest. Rachel, what should I focus on creatively next to be successfully? Creatively. I don't know why I said that weird. What should I focus on creatively? Creatively. What is wrong with my brain? Next to be successful. The contemplator. If I can get that in focus. So this would suggest, okay, well, it's that whole kind of notion of allow something to come to you rather than trying to force something. And the thing I've said a million times, that if you see yourself as a creative person, rather than, in a sense, someone who's in charge of making the thing, so you try to aim to see yourself more in a sense of being a midwife, where you're delivering the thing, that you're manifesting the thing, that you're the channel for the thing. And the contemplator kind of saying, just let all of that percolate, come out through, and allow it to be as it is, rather than a kind of a forced stamping of who you are on it. And so that when you kind of allow the ideas to be and present themselves as they are. That's not to say that you can't, or that you won't have to work on it, or you won't have to, in some way, still hammer the statue out of the stone. But it's to let the stone tell you what the statue is. Let the song sing itself to you, and other kind of fancy ways of saying things, or annoying ways of saying things. So allow it to come to you rather than you go to it. Allow it to tell you what it is. Allow it to just kind of come through you, to see yourself as a channel, rather than someone who has to go out and hunt, say, and find these things. Craig, which servant has served me the most often these last several years? Whoa, jumped out. The media. So, of course, the media is about your public expression of yourself, or how you put yourself out there, or how you want to be seen or are seen by the people around you and the world at large. It's about propaganda in both senses of both types of propaganda, in the good stuff and the bad stuff. It's like public relations. It's borders on kind of deceit and lies, but isn't. It's more spin. It's not fabrication, in that it's not telling the whole truth. Sometimes it depends on the context. It's about spin. And spin on public relations. And how does that served you? Is that like, it's not really, I can't really interpret that. It's either this is what it is, or this isn't what it is. So that's Do you feel that's accurate? Alex, what should I work on this month? The mother. So, either self-love, self-care, looking after yourself in the way that a mother would be, that kind of a gentle, loving embrace, or have a look at the kind of the earth correspondence part of the mother, which would be, coins, pentacles in the elements, or just home, sanctuary, security, food, comfort, the basic needs, all of those type of things. Or are you working on all of those things, or is it something that needs to be looked at, that needs to be dealt with? Because once you have all of those things, and it's not an easy task by any means, but once you have all your basic needs met, then everything becomes somewhat easier. Like it's very hard to be any sort of creative person when you're constantly worried about, what you're going to eat tomorrow, or when they're going to come and take the house away from you, or whatever it is. And if you can try and get your life in order in that kind of way, as much as possible, it's not always possible, of course, certain time, place, circumstance, then everything else becomes a little bit easier. So have a look at the two aspects of the mother that I mentioned there. One of the self-love, self-care, looking after yourself, loving yourself, being kind and supportive to yourself, or to see if all your kind of earth correspondence stuff is in order or can be worked on. Elsie, what should I stay aware of as I travel home and make the transition from being overseas for a while? The media again. I suppose there's this idea of how it looks to other people, or what type of thing you feel that it's expressing or saying about you, or I don't know the situation, but seemingly when you travel home after being overseas, is there an expectation, a feeling in some way that you have failed because you have to travel home? Is there this kind of expectation that when you go back, would people think you feel you're better than everyone else for having travelled and been away? Just have a look at how this would look to someone else, and like maybe you do feel that you're better than everyone else for having travelled away, and lean into that or whatever, or try and have a look at it, what this might represent or look to someone else, or what is the message that you feel is being said by what your actions that are happening, and do they align with what you actually think? And if they don't, then try to make some amends, or try to make some changes, or at least make some sort of broadcast that's not your intention. And if they do align, then great, at least you know. But it's something to look with. What does this move look like, or would tell people, or do you think people, what sort of message or what sort of understanding people would be getting from this about you? What is this thing saying about you, and is that true or not? Is Vincenus, how can I improve my creative output this month? The Monk, simplify, get rid of all the clutter, and get back to the core thing of whatever it is that you're trying to do. Yourself, it's very easy to say, let's set up a YouTube channel, and then you worry about lights, then you worry about cameras, then you worry about field of views, and you worry about apertures and the blurry black backgrounds and all of these things. And essentially, most of the time, once you have it's kind of to any kind of a quality, then most people don't really care about that. And it's sound mostly that people care about rather than visuals anyway. All that to say that you can get caught up in having the best angle, the best lighting, the best things, and it's the message that people are interested in. Now, of course, all these things are important, and if you come on and your hair was a mess, your clothes were filthy, you had muck in your face, unless of course that is the kink of what you're trying to do, the channel or the team, then people will have an opinion about that. But just this idea of simplify. What is at the core? What are you trying to do? Pull back from all the necessarily the over the topness or feeling the need to do everything, and just kind of retreat a bit more into, right, this is what we're doing. It's kind of like trying not to keep up with the Joneses, not to try necessarily go with trends, not to kind of think you have to do all of these things, that you have to do that YouTube thumbnail, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, and just see how can you simplify it. And by simplifying it, you probably have more time and you'll be able to actually do more of the creative element of it rather than the production element of it. Rook Guide. What's the best way to achieve the connection I am working on with Jay? The adventure. So the adventure is something, it's a very physical card. It's out there in the world. It's not rethinking things. It's not, self-improvement or any of these things that are kind of fairly, inward or at home. It's about getting out and doing stuff. So what's the best way to achieve the connection I'm working on? Is to get out and do stuff with Jay. Out explore, do something exciting, like go on dates if it's a romantic thing, but if it's a friendship thing, then do things that, not just kind of calling around to their house or you calling around to them, calling around to you. It's like go and do stuff together, and that will kind of bond and, foster a kind of a more kind of closer relationship. That's kind of what I was saying, that, yeah, just have adventures in the world, out there, do things. Go to a forest and have a walk. Never fails. Peter, where should my focus be during November? Magically, of course. The Saint. Could be on the Saint. Intercession. On developing your relationships with your patron deities. On if you don't have one, getting one, having a further development of the relationship without the kind of need to want something back. Just it's like kind of like the last question: foster a better friendship, rather than trying to need something out of it. This idea of expertise, maybe you can, if you need something, to look for the expert. But I think it was more like a guru or a teacher, something like that, than it literally would be the guru or the teacher. The guru will come up to signify the teacher. So yeah, work on your relationships between whatever it is, if it's deities, if it's angels, if it's the servants. Now that should be your focus. James, what should be my correct orientation? As in your true north, James, I'm assuming. But I shouldn't assume. Let's just go with your question. What should my correct orientation? What should James's correct orientation be? The moon. The moon's nighttime, so the idea with the moon, for me, when I'm reading it, it's very contextual, and it can mean many things. It can mean hope, it can mean false hope, it can mean lies, deceit. But in this case, what I'm getting for it is more the light and the darkness. The only thing that's bright, the way, it's like the thing to get people home. You can get home by there's only one light, and even if it is a false light, even if it is only reflecting someone else's light or something else's light, it's still the thing that lights up the night sky the brightest, and allows us to see, for the most part, in the darkness. So it's that kind of, your correct orientation is to be something like that, is that you don't have to be the sun, you don't have to be the center of the universe, you don't have to be the radiant power. It's okay to be just some sort of reflection of that, or something smaller. But it's still super important, because it lights up the night sky, and it illuminates the darkness. Because of course in the daytime, you don't really need to illuminate anything, because it's already illuminated. So the important thing is to have something that does that in the darkness. I mean, it's the idea of the lamp, be a lamp unto yourself, in one sense of the Buddha, but the lamp in the Magia sense, the radiance. But I suppose like when you say things like illumination, that seems like it's kind of it's more of a personal thing, like my awakening, my enlightenment, and my illumination. But I think the moon is more, in this case, saying something about being a beacon, almost like a lighthouse, James, to in the darkness. Okay, and on to Betty, which will be the last one of this video. If you didn't get your question in this one, it will be in the next one. Betty, what should I pay attention to during November? The sun. Interesting. That comes out after the moon. Where the power lies in your life and your circumstances. Where the radiance is, where it comes from, what is the thing that shines? What is the thing that makes all things possible, in the sense of, without the sun, you don't have any growth, you don't have any life, you don't have any vitamin C, so you don't have any happiness. So much depends on the sun. And so have a look in your life and see, well, where are all my dependencies? Where are the things that allow for all this to happen? Or what's missing, I suppose, from the things. Where should the power sources be? Where is the illumination? What are my sources of enlightenment? What are my sources of radiance? And see where they are, and have a look around that. And it might reveal that you have loads that you didn't know. It might reveal that you have exactly the same that you always knew, and you can be grateful for them and acknowledge them. Or it might show that you're lacking in some way and go, oh, I have no power in a certain, at work or something, or I have no power in my family, or there's darkness in certain places, and try to in some way illuminate that. So that is it for the first video. I shall see you all in the second video.